Good morning, everyone. Thank you for taking a little time out of the day to spend a little bit of time with us to talk about the NFPA 96 standard and the changes that we've seen with the new standard that came out. First of all, I'll start out with just a few housekeeping notes. I'll be sharing the slides today. You can follow along with the general conversation as we talk about them. You can submit questions anytime. There's a question and answer period at the end that we'll do our best to answer questions, or if we can't answer one, we'll follow up with you afterwards. But in the control panel, under the chat, or under the questions tab, there's on the right side of your screen, just enter your question, hit enter. And if we don't address them during the webinar, then we'll catch them at the end. After the presentation today, the webinar will be available at societyinsurance.com under Risk Management Education and Training. It'll also be on our Society Insurance YouTube channel. I already had that question come in from one of the people that's in the audience, so hopefully that'll answer your question, so it'll always be available. Before we get started on the webinar, I'll do just a quick overview of what Society Insurance is and does. We're a regional insurance carrier. We're based in the great city of Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. We currently write business in 8 states, including Wisconsin, Minnesota, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Tennessee, Colorado, and our newest one, Georgia. And coming soon, we'll be in Texas. We've been writing workers' comp coverage since it was 1915. Today, we offer property, liability, commercial auto coverage. We have really specialized knowledge in protecting the hospitality industry. Our specialty is providing insurance for select business niches with a focus on small details that make the biggest difference. Today, we have 3 presenters, myself, Shelby Blundell. I'm a risk improvement rep with Society Insurance, been with them since 2010. I mostly take care of the Chicago, Northern Illinois area, but also handle our service accounts in the great Tennessee state. So also have Brian Anderson with us.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Brian Anderson. I'm the risk improvement representative for Southeast Wisconsin. I have a bachelor's degree in occupational and environmental safety and health from Wisconsin Whitewater. I've been doing this for about 11 years, and I'm also a lieutenant on my local fire department, where I've been there for over 16 years. And I hold many certificates in firefighting and prevention, as well as emergency management.
And we got Alex along with us.
Hello, my name is Alex Jones, and I'm a risk control representative for the state of Tennessee. I graduated from Middle Tennessee State University with a degree in risk management and insurance this August. I've been with Society for almost a year now.
Awesome. Good to have both of you along with me on this. All right, so we got 3 learning objectives for today. What is NFPA 96? What's new in the 2021 edition that came out, and what resources are available to you that can help you out along the way. So hopefully by the end of this, you'll have a better understanding of those 3 things. We'll get started with just a quick question to get everybody thinking. So we know we have the NFPA standards, but how often are the standards updated? It's not just random, it's done the same time. Give just a minute here for everybody to give their thoughts on it. Seems like so far there's one in the lead. Everybody sees these standards come out in different years on them, but does anybody know exactly what the standard revision time is? Okay, looks like we got just about everybody voted on here. Give it one more second. All right, close it out. Looks like most people, 48% of the crowd, thought it was every 3 years. Brian, what do you think?
Yep, that's correct, Shelby and everyone else. It's every 3 years that NFPA updates their standards.
All right.
Now we're just going to talk about NFPA and NFPA 96. So what exactly is the National Fire Protection Association? NFPA is the United States Trade Association that creates and maintains standards and codes to minimize death, injury, property, and economic loss due to fire, electrical, and related hazards. NFPA 96 is one of the most frequent chapters used and cited by risk professionals here at Society. It lists out all the requirements and standards which every commercial cooking operation is expected to follow. And in addition, NFPA 96 has been adopted in virtually every state of the country. So we're going to talk about NFPA 96 obviously specifically, and most of the changes found in the 2021 edition are attempting to clarify the requirements for safely operating mobile and temporary kitchens, which would be food trucks, trailers, tents, etc. It lists out the specific instances where mobile and temporary cooking operations are not subject to the requirements. These are extremely specific in nature, and we're not going to bog you down with these small details. Our focus today instead will be on the new brand-specific material and general changes which apply to all cooking operations. One of the first changes which affects all cooking operations in the 2021 edition can be found in Chapter 9. A lighting unit that is listed with a protective globe should not be operated without the globe in place, as it provides protection for the light bulb. This is an issue frequently encountered by our risk control representatives here at Society. A bulb may burn out, and on occasion, someone may forget to either replace it or the globe, or both. The globe should always be put back in place immediately, as it will prevent injuries to employees and reduce the possibility of foreign particles in food, and potentially contain the spread of a fire and property damage. Here's an example of a protective globe in the hood, but unfortunately it has unlisted electrical boxes powering them. Here's an example of both the bulb and the globe missing. Under the new requirements, this must be corrected immediately, and the lighting unit should not be used until the globe is replaced. And now I'm going to turn things over to Alex.
Okay, so we're going to jump into Chapter 10, Fire Extinguishing Equipment for Cooking Operations and Buildings. So the next change will affect all cooking operations has to do with the fuel and electric power shutoffs. This can be found in Chapter 10. If the automatic fire extinguishing system is discharged, all sources of fuel and electric power that produce heat to the equipment underneath the automatic extinguishing system must automatically shut off. This is extremely important for multiple reasons. Fires continue to grow when the fuel is still available. By taking away natural gas, propane, and electricity, the source of fuel is eliminated and the fire will soon go out. While some kitchen suppression services providers may install these shutoffs, in my experience, the business owner must hire a licensed plumber and/or electrician to install these shutoff devices. Okay. All systems need to have both automatic and manual methods of actuation. This is an item all Society risk professionals are keeping an eye out for during our evaluations. These must be located in means of egress. In the event of emergency and the automatic actuation fails, employees will have the chance to pull the manual actuation as they escape the kitchen. Frequently, a recommendation will be made when the manual actuation is obstructed and not readily accessible. This new addition to NFPA 96 is attempting to correct the opposite problem. NFPA 10.5.1.3 states manual actuation devices installed in locations where accidental discharge could occur shall be provided with a guard where required by authority having jurisdiction. There are a couple other changes to the 2021 edition of NFPA 96, but we will discuss those when we get to the portion concerning solid fuel. Before we get to that topic, let's briefly cover the most drastic addition to 2021 edition of NFPA 96, Chapter 11, Fire Extinguishing Equipment for Mobile and Temporary Cooking Operations. But first, let's have a poll question.
Yeah, while we're talking about starting into the food truck discussion, a lot of people aren't real familiar with food trucks, so some of this has to do with food trucks, and wanted to ask to see what everybody's understanding was. Do food trucks have to meet the same grease control requirements as a brick and mortar restaurant? A lot of people think that they're the same. A lot of people think that they're different, and a lot of people are just not real familiar with the food trucks all around. Give it just another second here. Just about everybody in. And close it up. Looks like there's an overwhelming answer. Alex, what's your answer on it?
Yes, the answer is yes. Food trucks and brick and mortar have the same grease control requirements.
Go ahead with chapter 11.
Okay. Yeah, so that poll question kind of leads into chapter 11. The entire chapter 11 is brand new, which targets fire extinguishing equipment for mobile and temporary cooking operations. Therefore, I'll be going through the highlights of chapter 11. Many of these standards will apply both to mobile cooking and brick and mortar restaurants, but chapter 11 is kind of targeting the mobile and temporary cooking operation. So just like a brick and mortar restaurant, mobile cooking and temporary cooking operations need to have fire extinguishing equipment and grease removal hood duct systems. The automatic fire extinguishing equipment shall comply with UL 300 or other equivalent standards and should be installed in terms of their listing and NFPA 17A. NFPA 17A is a standard for wet chemical extinguishing systems. The automatic extinguishing system should be serviced by a qualified and trained professional semi-annually. Additionally, a secondary method of extinguishing system shall be provided. A Class K extinguisher shall be provided for cooking hazards that involve combustible cooking operations, so something like oil. A portable fire extinguisher rated 20-B-C should be provided where internal combustion engine power sources are provided. So what this is referring to whenever it talks about internal combustion engine power source typically means a gas-powered generator. So the 20-B-C rated extinguisher needs to be on hand just in case if the generator were to catch fire. The portable extinguisher shall be selected and installed in accordance to NFPA 10. Portable fire extinguishers shall be serviced by a qualified and trained professional annually. Just like Chapter 10, the actuation of any fire extinguishing system should automatically shut off all sources of fuel and electric power that produce heat. This is kind of getting back to where Chapter 11 is specific for mobile and temporary cooking operations. So this will reduce the spread of fire by shutting off the fuel source. In order to restore the fuel or power that shut off, it needs to be manual resetted. All fire extinguishing systems shall have an automatic and manual method of actuation. The manual actuation device needs to be located in the means of egress in an event of emergency. The manual activating device needs to be clearly identifiable and provide instructions for its use. These requirements also overlap with brick and mortar. In the event that the automatic fire extinguishing system is actuated, an audible or visual indicator should alert that the system has been actuated inside the mobile or temporary cooking operation, just giving the signal to get out for everyone that's inside. Additionally, outside the vehicle, it should also alert the public visually or audibly that the fire extinguishing system has been actuated. So if we are at a large event or some kind of cooking operation, that it needs to alert the people around that the fire system has been actuated and then they need to back away from it. So I'm going to kind of hand this off to Brian.
Thanks, Alex. Next, we'll be discussing solid fuel cooking operations related to mobile and temporary cooking. But first, what exactly is solid fuel cooking? Solid fuel cooking refers to various forms of solid material that can be burned and used to cook and heat food. Examples of solid fuel cooking includes wood, charcoal, coal, and wood pellets. While this cooking method provides a unique charred and smoky flavoring to food, it also presents an elevated element of risk. So is solid fuel cooking dangerous? Solid fuel cooking increases the risk of fire because it produces heat, smoke, grease, and creosote. To mitigate risk, proper fire protection and precautions are necessary. Some of those items are: there should be no fuel stored within 3 feet of any cooking appliance. Fuel can include wood logs, propane, and other material. All ash, cinders, and other fire debris should be removed from the firebox at regular intervals and at least once per day. The fuel cannot be stored in the path of ash removal or near removed ashes. The ashes, cinders, and other fire debris should be placed in a closed metal container. You should use proper tools such as a metal shovel or scoop to pick up the ash, which can be very hot. Heat-resistant gloves can aid in preventing burns, and make sure you do not use your bare hands to remove the ash. The picture on the left is a metal container with a metal lid. This is the safe method of removing and storing the ashes. The picture on the right is a standard catering pan being used to store ashes. This pan is flimsy and does not have a cover. Solid fuel cooking equipment and mobile or temporary cooking operations should be separated from all other exhaust systems. Here's an example of a metal container with the metal lid for ash removal and storage. The ash should be sprayed with water before final disposal to ensure that there are no remaining hot ashes or cinders and to control the dust when the ash is moved. Solid fuel appliances and fireboxes that exceed 5 cubic feet shall be provided with a fixed water pipe system with a hose in the kitchen capable of reaching the firebox. For mobile and temporary cooking operations, the system shall have a minimum water supply of 25 gallons. The reason mobile and temporary cooking operations require their own water supply is because food trucks may not be connected to a dedicated water source like a brick and mortar building would be. The nozzle must be adjustable and capable of producing a fire, medium, spray, and mist. The nozzle shall be the type that cannot produce a straight stream, and the minimum operation pressure will be 40 pounds per square inch and provide a minimum of 5 gallons per minute. And I'll turn everything back over to Shelby.
All right, that's good information. Yeah, a lot of this stuff with the NFPA changes is just clarification. It's a lot of stuff that we've seen before, we've done before, or we've always heard is around. But whenever they make these NFPA updates, things have come before them and they've considered them and thought, yeah, we need to add that, and just some clarification on different points. So we have, as risk control, we try to provide everything we possibly can to help you guys save money, create a safe work environment and everything. So I did have one question from somebody asking if the webinar was available. Yes, absolutely. The webinars are available anytime. All of our previous webinars are available on our YouTube channel. Under risk control on our website, we have all kinds of handouts, a video streaming service, all kinds of things that you guys should really, I hope everybody leverages. Most of the places we work with, they don't have a safety manager. They don't have somebody that's on the job just to provide safety resources. So we try to make up for that and provide you guys resources that you can use anytime. We got free webinars all the time. The next webinar coming up later this year is on electrical safety. So I hope everybody joins us for that one. We'll take questions. Let me look and see. Got a couple of questions coming in. First one, I got a customer asking, why do we need to have a globe on the light? Isn't it mostly aesthetics, or does it actually serve a purpose? Brian, do you want to give an answer for that one?
Sure. I know the globes may look pretty, but they obviously serve several purposes. They help prevent the glass and other foreign objects from falling into the food and onto the cooking appliances, as well as preventing items from falling onto the employees and help prevent the spread of fire and property damage.
Yeah, well, we got that grease vapor that's coming up off of all the cooking appliances and stuff, that something's got to keep that out of the electrical stuff. Next question I've got, she's asking, hasn't the AES, which is the suppression system, hasn't the AES always required a manual actuation device, which most people know, they just call it the pull ring. which is the ring that starts the suppression system manually if it doesn't go off automatically. Alex, do you have an answer for that one?
Yeah, I do. The answer is yes. It's always been required, but this is to ensure that the reset for whenever you are ready. So you're resetting it, whenever the system is ready to be reset. That way, it's not automatically turning back on to whenever, say, the fire is still not put out yet. So, this is just verifying, making sure that whenever you are ready, that you are manually resetting it.
Awesome. Thank you. Those are the only two questions. The other question that I had got answered during the presentation. So this is a slightly shorter webinar than we usually do, and that's because it's very specific on the NFPA changes. But a lot of it's very technical. If you have more questions on it, reach out to any of us. We can help clarify anything you might have questions on. But thanks for joining us today. I hope the information was good. I hope you have a better understanding of what the NFPA changes are, and as you learned, in 3 years, we'll do this one again because it'll be time for a new update. Hope everyone had a good day, and you'll be receiving a survey follow-up after the webinar through email. Hopefully you'll take some time to fill it out and let us know what we did wrong and what webinars we could do in the future that would be helpful. All right. Thank you, everybody, and have a good day.